The following is a sponsored program paid for by Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group, RE/MAX Results. Welcome to Rochester Real Estate, featuring Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning, Andy Brownell, News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. Along with Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning. How are you?
Wish summer was back.
I know it's it wouldn't be bad if the sun would come out and shine.
Yeah.
It's the gray skies that just make you wanna.
It's also the getting dark early.
That's it. Yeah, the darkness. Darkness. We just need the sunlight.
So we just need the Alaskan thing, but we have to have it sunny year round somehow.
We don't want much. We're not hard to please at all. That's like that buyer that wants, everything that comes possible. And could you keep it under 200,000? Yeah, no problem. Realistic goals.
All right. Well, speaking of realistic goals, we've been talking over the past few months about the expectations of sellers in a market which was like so searing hot earlier this year that it was, we use the term insane all the time, and now things are returning to a more normal status, which is still biased towards the seller. I saw a report, I can't remember what day it was, that shows that our perception is all messed up on all this, because what was happening in recent weeks was actually record setting as far as how fast homes are selling still.
Exactly. I think I've said this on this show before, but I've said it to a lot of customers. Think about it as the speed limit being 55 miles an hour, okay? And all summer long we were driving 100 or 150 miles an hour, right? So now we've slowed down and we're driving 65. We're still going over the speed limit, but it just doesn't seem that fast because we were going so fast, okay? So it was really tough when sellers started to get discouraged because our house has been on the market a week and it's not sold. And they were sincere, not trying to be difficult, but just got used to watching their neighbors sell in an hour or in a day, during that hot, crazy market. Good news is, it's still a really good market,
a record-breaking market.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I recently, I printed out an article because I wanted to talk about it called Homes Continue to Sell at Record Speeds. Okay? So, home buyers are still snatching up homes at a quick pace, right? Homes sold more quickly in October than in any October in recent history.
Wow. Yeah?
Yeah, according to Realtor.com.
Yeah.
So, it's still taking, it's taking longer. As a matter of fact, a typical home across the country took 45 days on the market in October. And to some people, 45 days seems like an eternity. But I remember plenty of Octobers where it was more like 90 days or 110 days.
Yeah.
So it's a fantastic market. And truthfully, I think it's a lot easier to plan your move if you have a little bit of time.
Well, that's what's gotten me. I hear these, I talk to people and they sell their homes and I go, when do you close? Well, we close, like in 3 weeks. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Because the people want to get into the home, and I remember this whole process taking months.
Right. Exactly. So it's a very good pace. Things are still selling fast. I mean, the South is still seeing some of the fastest sales. The 5 fastest selling metros that they compared were Miami, which was 31 days faster than last year. Raleigh, North Carolina, in the month of October, I'm saying. In the month of October, it took 30 days less than the previous years was, you know what I'm trying to say, right?
I do, I got it.
30-day difference, okay? And Jacksonville, Florida, 17-day difference. Orlando, a 17-day difference. And Tennessee, a 16-day difference. So we're not talking it's gone from selling super fast to selling months, right? We're talking 16 days or maybe 30 days more.
Well, so even locally, though, I think the last Southeastern Minnesota Realtors report you had, it was still like 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, we were at 17, I think it was 17 days, so just a little bit more. Great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. It is. Perception is reality, isn't it? People have, things got put into a certain perspective in the spring, and it's kind of skewed expectations.
So this past Wednesday, Nick Bailey, who is the president of RE/MAX International, came to Edina, Minnesota, to one of John Colopy's offices. So for people who are listening who don't really understand how the whole hierarchy of franchise works, clearly RE/MAX is our national brand, and then you can buy a franchise. So if you have the means to do that, you can own your own RE/MAX, and then of course you just follow the franchise rules, just like if you own a Dairy Queen or a McDonald's or a Quick Trip or whatever. Sure. So anyway, John Colopy, our broker owner of RE/MAX Results, is the largest franchisee in North America. So he has currently 45 offices and something like 1,400 sales executives. There's only 140,000 agents in RE/MAX as a whole, and 1,400 of them are just in our company. Okay, so yeah, he's got a good share. So he's got a little pull. So the president of RE/MAX came to do a personal meeting with the RE/MAX Results agents, and he was in the Edina, France office, and I was there in person. And there was a room full there, but then there were people, watching it through the offices in their conference, or through the TV in their conference rooms, throughout the office. Where I'm going with this is he talked to us about the state of the real estate market. Of course, he's considered one of the top experts in the country. He's asked to speak on CNBC, and he goes and they quote him all the time, and he talks about what does the future look like for real estate. And I was so happy to hear him say exactly what I have been saying week after week on this show. Listen closely. There is not going to be a real estate crash, okay? Do we all get that? It's not going to happen. We're in a great position. People have a whole lot of equity in their homes. There's only 2% of all mortgages in the whole country that have negative equity. That's barely any, okay? So, and those houses are probably very sellable because of the lack of inventory. So, truth be told, there's people that are sitting in their homes that maybe can't afford them, but they will be able to sell them, walk away with money in their pocket.
Sure.
So does that make sense?
It makes absolute sense. And I don't understand why people don't see the differences between what's happening today and what happened 12 years ago. Yeah,
right. It is completely different. It's not compared. And everybody's like, oh, you're just little Miss Susie Sunshine, and you're just so positive. And I'm like, I am positive, but I'm also knowledgeable, and I also have my facts, and I know, where we're headed. And, truthfully, this is a very good, solid real estate market, and it's going to stay that way. And prices are going to continue to increase. And, again, not as much as they have. We're not going to see the 30% increase year over year like they did in Scottsdale, Arizona last year. We're not going to see even the 12 or 13% that we saw in our market, but we're still going to see an increase. I mean, your house, you buy it today, next year it's going to be worth, 5% more, 8% more. I don't have a crystal ball, right, but I do know it's going to increase. It's definitely not going to stay stagnant, and you're not going to lose money.
And the whole time, you're living in it.
And you're living in it. What do I always say? It's your bank account that can be your shelter. It's the best.
All right. Well, we're talking with Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results, and we'll be right back on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM 9 FM. Welcome back to Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning and welcome back. So, Robin, you mentioned that the top guy for RE/MAX said, and you've used this statistic before as well, that there's only 2% of the homes are quote unquote underwater. Right. So that means that what's owed on them is more than what they're worth.
Right.
So that
35% of all homes in the U.S. have zero mortgage.
Right.
Okay, 63% have positive equity, so the house is worth way more than what's owed. And then there's that 2% that they couldn't probably sell it for what they owe, but they could sell it. Mm-hmm.
But so in other words, 98% of the people who own these homes, they own at least a portion of it, and there's value to that portion.
You want to know how much?
Okay.
Okay, just because I happen to know this stat. Record high in October, across the U.S. in tappable home equity, are we ready for this? $9.1 trillion.
That $1 trillion number again. Wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that are sitting on their nest egg, right?
Yep.
So if they just sit there and they own it, and they live in it, and then when they do sell it because they're going to retire or they're going to downsize, it's going to be a huge amount of wealth to them, okay?
Absolutely. That's part of the plan for most folks.
For most folks. But guess what we're also seeing? You can imagine this. All of a sudden, there is a surge in cash out refinance.
Oh. Well,
so
I can see that for if I were to have I want to start my own small business or something like that. That might be a great place to get the capital I need to do it.
Yes, especially because the mortgage rates are still low, the interest rates, right? So even on the refis, they're still very, very low. So we haven't seen a lot of these cash out refis lately, but now because everybody all of a sudden has built this crazy amount of equity in their home, they're thinking, I could take this money and buy a vacation home, or I could take this money. I mean, that wouldn't be bad because then you're just putting the equity somewhere else. But, they are taking it, and as long as they're not taking it to buy a yacht or a car or something that's going to, depreciate quickly.
Or something really speculative, too.
Yes, or something really speculative, because otherwise, if that starts happening, if people start borrowing against the equity, now there are going to be fewer houses with positive equity, and we're going to get back to now these houses don't have any equity. Now, if people can't afford to make their payments and they sell them, well, that's when there could be foreclosures coming around the corner. So, this is the time. It would be nice to have a crystal ball, but doggone it, I do not have one. Haven't been able to find one. Keep your eyes open for one, Andy, just in case. We could use that. Thrift shop, I don't know, antique shop. Come across one, find.
If it ends up in the thrift shop, I might not actually trust that one because
didn't do very well. Unless somebody didn't know what they had. Don't you watch this antique roadshow or whatever it is?
Oh yeah, I would love to be the person who happens upon the thing in the closet that, I didn't know what it was worth.
So I just I guess my advice would be, if you have all that equity, don't get this perception that it's going to continue to replenish. The last 3 years it's gone up 10% and then 11% and then 13%. So if I take some of it and it goes up 10% and 20%, I'm going to get it back. Because, like I said, we're predicting that within a couple of years, maybe even by 2023, we're going to be back at a steady 3% a year growth rate. So it would be tough to make that wealth up again. And so many people depend on that wealth in equity when it comes time to retire. So that's my advice. Even though it's probably an option to do a cash out refi, think about it and really just do that if you're going to take that money and use it for something else that's going to make you money, or of course sometimes there's emergencies, you can't help it, and it's a good place to get the money. But I just want people to, right now everybody's kind of house rich, and I think that's a good way to be.
And I would hope that the people who are writing up these loans give the speech to the person taking the loan. You do understand that you're putting your home at risk when you do this.
Well, I have a feeling that doesn't really happen because I don't know. I'm not trying to trash talk, but if you think about it, if someone's in the business of lending money, that's how they make their money.
Yeah.
And so if somebody wants to come in and they meet the criteria, they're probably not going to try to talk them out of it. But I will. If you call me and ask me if you think it's a good idea, call me, okay?
Well, you've always said your home is a long-term investment, and owning homes is even if you upscale to the next level of home using the equity in this home,
Right.
it's still a solid investment because
Exactly.
it's real estate at that point.
Right, and if you want to use that equity to buy yourself a rental property so that you can make some money, have some income, there's some times where it's going to make great sense to do it, but I just don't want people to lose their head.
You don't want to see them driving a Lamborghini the next day, is what you're telling me.
Well, not if it means they took the equity out of their house to get it. If they got it some other way, then they can have it.
Okay.
I don't want it.
Well, how'd you get the money for the Lambo?
Don't tell Robin.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, well, I
think it's something that you should think about. It's just, there's always when something really good is going on, like all of a sudden there's all this equity, then you just have to wonder, now, how could this go bad? And the logical answer is people could start sucking it out and blowing it. So just know your wealth is in your real estate. And
it is historically in this United States of America, it is the way to generate wealth.
Absolutely.
Owning real estate. Okay.
Correct.
We already have to take another break, so we're going to do that really quick.
Okay.
And we'll be back with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340, KROC 86.9 FM.
Are you working?
Welcome back to Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning and welcome back. Andy Brownell with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results. Robin, are we still seeing any multiple bid type situations going on out there? Is that still a thing?
It is still a thing, and I tell you, again, I'll reference back to Nick Bailey coming to our office. He talked about how even just within RE/MAX offices across the country, different markets are different, right? So traditionally, fall, just because it's dark sooner, the weather's colder, our market slows down. Well, it's not slowing down at the pace it normally would. And yes, to answer your question, we still are seeing bidding wars. And they're not as often. I mean, there was a while this summer that it's not if we'll be in a bidding war, it's how many offers will we be against.
Right.
Okay? I mean, that was just the way it is. But now it's like, wait, you mean I'm your only offer? Okay, quick, get this thing presented. Let's not wait for another one. So we are getting in there with just one offer and getting offers accepted, but there are still offers with multiple offers. And truthfully, the statistics showed that in the third quarter, 66% of active home buyers say that they have spent 3 or more months searching for properties. So still on the tail end of those, with those buyers that have been beat out, but haven't given up. So hopefully that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and between the end of the last half of November and the month of December, they'll get that house. And if not, for sure into January. But our market, I don't think, is going to go radio silent at all this winter. Probably not even the week of Christmas. It'll probably just stay steady and stay busy because we still have so many qualified buyers out there that do want to get in their house. And if they've been out there searching for homes for 3 months and still haven't gotten one, and it's starting to get easier, they're not going to give up now. Now's the time they're going to follow through and get that house, get locked in.
When you talk to these prospective buyers, is that something you counsel them on, that it may take longer than you wish to find the house you want to be in and actually purchase it?
Yeah, and I think, I'm such a firm believer that if we can take the mystery out of the process, if we can do a really good job of explaining to them and helping them set their expectations, the whole process of buying the house is going to go so much smoother. Because if they have no idea what they're getting in for in anything in life, if you don't know what you're signing up for, it's a little scary, right? But if somebody sits down and says, this is the way it's going to work, okay? You're going to get pre-qualified. We're going to know exactly not only what you can afford, but what you're comfortable. Because sometimes people get qualified for a much higher amount than they're comfortable paying a payment on. So it's not just get your qualification letter, find out what that monthly payment is going to be and how that fits your budget and your lifestyle. And then once we've honed in on that number, then we'll start the search. And then, of course, if it's a number where the majority of the buyers are, I have to go through the whole spiel about, okay, you're going to be one of many trying to buy a house in this price range right now, so we have to use some of my tactics that I have to win in multiple offers. And I have a really good track record, but you know what? I mean, everybody gets beat out in multiple offers, and some more than others, right? But everybody has lost in multiple offers in this market at least a few times, because it's just the way the market was. So I think if people know, but what I also say, Andy, is don't give up, because here I go on my soapbox, but rent, my gosh, you're just like opening up the window, throwing out your money, wave it goodbye as it blows away. Literally, renters missed out on $51,000 in equity this year.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's an incredible number.
Yep. It says in an article that I actually found, it says, let's see, the national median rent has climbed by 16.4%, according to the latest national rent report from apartmentlist.com. Okay? Rents are not slowing down either, as the demand remains high. And of course, the demand remains high because these buyers that get beat up and beat up and beat up get out and rent instead. So meanwhile, these renters may be missing out on gaining equity. The average homeowner gained $51,500 in equity over the past year, according to CoreLogic. So yeah, I mean, rents are bad, and some cities they're worst. And you can imagine, New York City is terrible. Austin, Texas is like the hot spot. Everybody wants to go to Austin, Texas. And actually, Nick Bailey talked about how that's the one market where the multiple offers are still rampant.
I'm not hip enough to live there, so
Me either. Actually, we've said this a million times. We're Rochester people. We're Midwest people. We're Minnesota people. We'll be here till we die.
And they say it's a quiet town. We go, yeah, we like it. We like it. Quiet's good. Boring's good. Give me boring any day. But I actually know somebody in the Chicago market where they were renting, and it was crazy what they were paying for rent. And because of all the things that you just mentioned, they took the dive into buying into a condo in the downtown area. And because the rents were rising so fast, they ended up with the interest rates were double the amount of size for basically the same payments.
Right.
By purchasing.
Yep. Yeah, no, I'm telling you, it is the way to go if you can make it happen. Now, it's not like, oh, this is a no-brainer. This is what everybody. Some people don't have the down payment, or some people don't have the credit, or some people say, ooh, I don't have the money to buy the house and pay the taxes and the insurance. So it's not like every single person who rents should be in a home, owning a home. But I think that it should be a goal for most people who rent. I know people, well, as a matter of fact, in one of the fourplexes that we have in Wabasha, there is a renter that's been there 17 years. She's as content as can be, but I've told her, you could have owned this building.
And been raking in the rent from the other units. Right.
And been right on site to manage. But she's content as can be, and that's her thing.
Sure.
So, I mean, for some people, it's what they want. They don't want the responsibility of home ownership. They don't want the headache. They don't want whatever. They just want to live the simple life where they pay their rent. And she happens to have a nice place for a very affordable rent. But those are hard to come by.
And more and more.
More and more. Yes, absolutely.
The pressure is definitely up on rents everywhere you go.
Oh, terrible.
Yep. I remember when I had the epiphany of when I was still renting, and I woke up in the middle of the night one night and said, this is crazy. We're going to buy a house.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't sleep. I was thinking about how much money I was paying in rent.
See, so your time came. And I think that is what happens with most renters. But then think about it, all right? So then they decided a year ago, okay, I'm done renting. I want to buy a house. and the interest rates are great, and we're ready to do this, we've got great credit, and then they go out and they get beat up offer after offer after offer. I saw a post on Facebook. I don't even, if I were the realtor, I honestly don't know if I would have put it, but she was so happy for her buyers. She's like, congratulations to these folks, they lost out on 16 homes and finally got one. I mean, as a realtor, I was thinking 16. Oh my goodness! But I totally get, it was in a different market than here, so I can't speak to how crazy their market is. But I can tell you, I've never had a buyer that's had to go 16. I might have had a buyer that lost 2, but I don't think more than that.
So don't get discouraged is your message for the week.
Yes, and with the cold and the dark coming, it's only going to mean fewer and fewer buyers, so it's only going to increase the opportunities for those buyers that haven't yet been able to land a house, because they're going to be able to go out there and, like I said, maybe be the only offer on the table, maybe even, brace yourself, maybe even get the house for less than asking price.
All right, well,
not a lot less. Don't get your hopes up too high, but yeah, so there's some room now.
Okay. So, how do I get a hold of you, Robin?
Anytime. I'm happy to help. My cell phone number is 507-259-4926, and would love to hear from you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Robin, and we'll chat again next week.
Thank you, Andy.
All right. Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.